You don't have a sleep problem, you have a lighting problem. Most modern LEDs flood your home with flickering blue-rich light that keeps your biology stuck in a daytime mode, delaying melatonin and spiking cortisol, and harming your sleep. It's time to get back in sync. Introducing the Better Sleep Bulb by InRhythm. It's the only flicker-free, infrared enriched, triple mode, dirty electricity-free bulb designed to mimic the natural shift from sunlight to firelight. Toggle between 3 modes to effortlessly support your body's need for repair and deep restorative sleep. Stop fighting your biology and start supporting it. Use our code QuantumHealthy for a discount. Click the link in the show notes to transform your home and your sleep tonight.
This episode is sponsored by Viva Rays, the only eyewear company that truly understands your biology. Viva Rays are advanced blue light glasses designed with circadian biology in mind. Unlike typical blue blockers, they filter light in harmony with your body's natural rhythms, helping you sleep deeper, feel more energized, and protect your long-term health. We love companies that support biology-backed wellness, and Viva Rays is leading the way. Use code QuantumHealthy at vivarays.com to save 15% and support your sleep, focus, and natural energy the way nature intended. Enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Quantum Healthy Podcast. I'm Andia, a licensed addiction counselor, and along with my co-host, Laura Kissman, a quantum nutritionist, we will be inviting expert scientists, clinicians, survivors, and thrivers to distill their pearls of wisdom attained from applying quantum biology to their fields of research and everyday lives. Our goal is to bring you easy to understand principles and practices about the study of light, water, and magnetism so you can take your health into your own hands. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Healthy Podcast. Today we have Catharine Arnston, and we are so excited to chat with her. So if you don't know who she is, an expert in algae nutrition, a wellness thought leader, and an experienced entrepreneur, and a sought-after speaker. And that's actually where I met Catharine at the American Naturopathic Medical Board conference last year, speaking. And Catharine has a PhD, an MBA, and a BA, and is a board-certified health coach. She's a visionary founder of and CEO and the Chief Science Officer of ENERGYbits. And she has made it her life mission to bring algae to the world so it can improve our lives and our world one bit at a time. And
one bit at a time.
Yes, we are so excited to chat about these guys.
Algae.
Algae. Okay, so why don't you share a little bit about just your background and how algae found you, or you found
Yes, algae did find me. I was minding my own business. I'm actually Canadian by birth, and thank you very much, Andia, for that lovely introduction. And it was so great to meet you. That was back in August, wasn't it, in Vegas?
Yeah.
So I'm Canadian by birth. I mentioned that because, and I did an MBA, I was doing international business, and then I had moved to the United States and have lived down here for 35 years, mostly in Boston, recently relocated to Miami. But I guess 17, 18 years ago, my younger sister in Toronto, Canada, developed breast cancer, and she was going through chemo, and her oncologist told her it would be advisable to change her diet to an alkaline diet to help with her healing through the chemo. Now, we were grateful that her oncologist told her this, but the oncologist didn't tell her what an alkaline diet was or what specifically was good for her. So my younger sister just called me just because I'm her bigger sister, and I'm a really good researcher and I can find anything. And so I knew nothing about it, but I went online. Turned out an alkaline diet was mostly a plant-based diet because of the phytonutrients and the chlorophyll that have been proven to build your immune system. But as I dug further, I found out there was a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg who won a Nobel Prize in the 30s for discovering that cancer can exist in cells that are alkaline, and the scale is 0 to 14, so you want your cells to be 7.1, 7.2. Anyways, that made a lot of sense to me. So she did change her diet. She did go through chemo. She completely healed. I have an annual girls reunion with her and my other sister, and she just was here visiting me a week ago. So happy ending for sure. But in the process of helping her, I started learning about nutrition. Now, I had been in business. I had actually had a career in the interior design industry. Nothing to do with nutrition, nothing to do with biology or cell microbiology, anything. But I found this fascinating. I found PubMed, which was fascinating, and I fell down the rabbit hole. And as I learned more about alkaline foods, it led me to algae, which is the most alkaline food in the world. 100,000 studies documenting the health benefits of it. Spirulina and chlorella, the two we'll talk about. It's been endorsed by the United Nations for 50 years as the answer to world hunger. NASA's been using it for 50 years on their space missions. And the best thing of all is that when I was teaching plant-based nutrition, because I did that first when I was a health coach, I was trying to get people to eat more vegetables and found out that there were too many obstacles. They either didn't like the taste, or the kids wouldn't eat them, or they gave them gas, or they expired too quickly. So when I found out that algae could be grown and is grown in Asia in freshwater farms, they're called hydroponic, and then they're dried and pressed into little tiny tablets that we call bits. The darker one is spirulina and the lighter one is chlorella. We'll talk about that in a minute. So if you swallow these, you don't taste anything. There's no contraindications with anything. There's 40 vitamins and minerals, highest protein in the world, 3 times more than steak, highest chlorophyll in the world. Each tablet has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. So now kids can take them, parents can take them, athletes can take them. All obstacles are gone. You don't taste them if you swallow them. They don't give you gas, like some vegetables give me gas. Vegetables go bad quickly. These last 3 years, I thought, this is it. This is the future of fast food because it's nutrient dense, scientifically proven, and internationally endorsed. Used it for 60 years in Asia. They do not leave their house in Japan without taking chlorella every day. They don't take supplements, they take chlorella. And the trouble is, none of the science or benefits of algae have made its way out of Asia. So I decided, I had to educate people, which I've been doing for 16 years now, and I had to provide them with a safe, pure version of it because all the other suppliers came from India and China, and the quality wasn't up to my standards. So that's why I started ENERGYbits, was to make sure once I educated people, I could give them a source that was clean, third-party tested here in the United States, endorsed by doctors, and all that other good stuff. So that's how I got to algae, and I'll tell you, I'm more in love with it now. Anyone who's listening to me may hear that I've got a bit of a cold, and I'll tell you why. I live in Miami now. I've been here for a year. I had to go to Boston last week, which is where I was living, and it was cold and rainy and miserable. But on top of that, I bought my entire team an Aura ring. And so we wanted to do testing to find out if the algae was going to improve people's sleep and whatever. So for a week, we all had to stop taking algae. And guess what week that was? Last week, when I was in friggin' cold Boston. Not a good combination. So,
oh no.
So the lack of algae and being in cold, rainy Boston brought me this lovely gift called a cold. And I'm back, and this week I'm back in Miami, so I'm warm again, and I am taking my algae, so I'm going to be healing again. So I apologize for the slight nasal tone, but it's a funny story, and it's the truth of what happened.
It's the reality, and that's okay.
Lack of algae can be a lack of health.
Catherine, I wanted to ask you, just because you mentioned alkalinity and you just brought something up for me. I was a huge fan, and I still am actually, of Dr. Robert Young, who wrote The pH Miracle.
Yes.
I was
he got into some trouble somehow. I can't remember
he got
what it
in
was.
some trouble. Yeah, but at the same time, we won't
He
go
had
there.
a great, I read his book. It was a great book.
Yeah, I've got it here, The pH Miracle. I just brought it out to show
Oh,
you.
they're good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, I was deep into chlorophyll, and I didn't do any chlorella or spirulina in that journey. But then what followed is I dove into medical medium, Anthony Williams.
Oh, I know. He loves one of them and doesn't like the other one. I think he
Yeah,
likes spirulina
spirulina,
and not
chlorella. But
Yeah.
Dr. Robert Young, I don't think he liked either. But I think it had to do with he was worried that it might have been
toxicity.
toxins in it, right?
Yeah.
And so, but what I have to say is, in that journey of was probably 9 years, I did not get a cold, flu, nothing. And I didn't. Yeah, it was
I
just
know, it's amazing.
miraculous.
Now that you brought it up, I will show you one thing I have. And if anyone's on YouTube, I'm showing a picture, which you can go online and to see.
Yes,
It's
I
the
thought that
chemical composition of your hemoglobin and the
Yes.
chemical composition, sorry, the light is so bright, of chlorophyll. And they are
Okay.
virtually identical. The difference is chlorophyll has a magnesium atom in the middle, And there we go. This is better. And your blood has iron in the middle, and that's what carries oxygen. So chlorophyll builds your blood. It just is
Yes.
that way. And so what you probably don't know is that chlorella algae, first of all, it's called chlorella because of the chlorophyll. There's nothing in the world with more chlorophyll than chlorella algae. It even has 25 times more than liquid chlorophyll and 500 times more than arugula, 1,000 times more than Chinese lettuce, cabbage. And these numbers come from the Linus Pauling Institute website, so I don't make anything up. So
Okay.
if you're looking for chlorophyll, and I tell people chlorophyll water is great. Lots of people are putting drops in their water, but you'll get more chlorophyll from chlorella. Spirulina has, because I think people know, but I'll just clarify, chlorophyll is a pigment. It's also an antioxidant, but it's a pigment. It's the green pigment in plants. And chlorella does belong to the plant kingdom, and we'll get into the difference between the two of them in a minute. Spirulina is called a blue-green algae because it has two pigments. It does have the chlorophyll, but it has another pigment, which is the blue one, not found anywhere else in nature, which is called phycocyanin, spelled with a Phycoci. Now, so spirulina does have chlorophyll, but not as much as chlorella. Chlorella is the gold standard for chlorophyll. Now, when you take chlorophyll drops, you're getting chlorophyll, but that's it. When you take chlorella, you're getting more chlorophyll, plus you're getting 40 vitamins and minerals. So you get all your electrolytes, you get all your B vitamins, you get 60% protein. So you really up level your nutritional value with chlorella, in addition to getting more chlorophyll. So it's really interesting that people are not as aware of chlorella in America as they are of spirulina, but we're going to hopefully change that.
Yeah. Wow, this is like the ultimate. I hate using the word supplement because this is not a supplement, it's food.
Yes, I know. No, and it's people do think it's a supplement, and it does supplement, it adds on to your nutritional health. Ironically, there's so much nutrition in spirulina and chlorella that we're not recommending it, but you could live on it forever and not need anything else. And the alkalinity piece, I'll give you just a little bit more taste on the alkalinity piece because it's so fascinating. Mother Nature is so brilliant. We will never outsmart nature. And to think that we can is a little bit of an ego trip. So here's what's so clever about one of the many clever things about Mother Nature and the alkalinity story. So in your blood, as I showed you that picture, your hemoglobin has that iron atom in the middle, and that's what carries oxygen. So the hemoglobin acts almost like a bumper, like bubble wrap around the iron atom, so that oxygen can be easily transported. And they have a negative charge around them. It's like when you hold up magnets, if you try to get them close, they won't get close because they repel one another. That's how Mother Nature designed hemoglobin. They have a negative charge around them, so they repel one another in your bloodstream. But when you eat too much acidic food like dairy or processed foods, or you're too much stress, which causes too much cortisol, or too much athletic sport, it strips off the negative charge in the blood. And your blood needs to be 7.34. Just like your body temperature is very precise, so is the blood pH. Now, Mother Nature's so smart because if your acidity of your blood changed, you would die. So what it does is it pulls minerals automatically out of your bones, your cells, your organs into your blood to neutralize that acidity and bring it back into alkalinity so that so A, you don't die, and B, so that the negative charge can be restored to the outside of the hemoglobin. How clever is that? The other thing you might find interesting is that the COVID virus and all viruses and all diseases also strip that negative charge off, which is why COVID victims were mostly dying of heart attacks because they could not get oxygen to their organs because the negative charge had been stripped away. The hemoglobin couldn't carry oxygen any longer because the COVID virus inserted itself. And it got even worse because what it did, it was kick out the oxygen atom, but it doesn't disappear. Now it's a rogue atom in your bloodstream, which then got into your lungs, which caused further damage. So everything is so beautifully curated and orchestrated and designed in our bodies to work. And so the key thing that you're going to find in what you do and what I do is that when you give your body gifts from Mother Nature, like sun, sleep, algae, which by the way was the first life on Earth. I'm writing a book right now. It'll be published in September. There's a whole chapter on the origin of algae. You are going to flip out because everything's all documented in science. First life ever is algae. Spirulina. In fact, that's why I sometimes now call spirulina spiritualina, because there's something spiritual about being the first life on Earth. So I know there's so much biohacking and there's so many devices, and ironically, they all end up getting us back to using the natural rhythms and processes that were already provided to us by Mother Nature. But we now live in offices and homes with LED lighting, and we don't get exercise, and we need red light devices because we aren't getting sunlight. Anyways, I'm glad for the biohacking community because it's bringing things to people that may not have access to these natural rhythms that are what truly keep us healthy. But I'm very proud that algae is right in there with all Mother Nature's other greatest things that she's given to us. And you can't argue with the first life on Earth.
The bioharmonizer. I
Yes.
can't remember who said that, but I heard someone say that
that's
once.
right.
It's a bio, instead of biohacking, it's just so.
Oh, I like that. Bioharmonizer. Oh,
It's a
much better, much
bioharmonizer
softer.
instead. Yeah, something more in
Much better.
line with nature sounds much more positive to
I
me.
know biohacking, it sounds like you got this
Yeah.
ripcord gun that you're just hacking away and carving things out. It's just a little.
Yeah, it
It's-
does.
yeah.
Biohack, that word just does not vibe with natural. It's like
Yes.
the trick or, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a natural bioharmonizer then.
I like that.
I love how you and your team have done this experiment with the Oura ring with the algae, but here's a question. Have you done an experiment with live blood where you take somebody's live blood, give them algae, and just because when you talked about the negative charge, I've done that experiment with a red light unit.
Yeah.
I've also done it the opposite with a cell phone to see what it does to the blood, and
Oh, I
you can
bet.
see
Oh,
those.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I have not. I would love to. I have a
Oh, wow.
paper that shows different blood disorders based on different conditions, but that would be exceptional. We've done two small clinical trials of our own, and they were very small,
Okay,
but they
okay.
were with our product, and they were exciting to me because they got results that blew me away and everybody else. But I would love to do that. And if you have some suggestions on who to call or how to do that,
Yeah.
that would be extraordinary. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
need
love blood.
a live blood analyst.
Yes. Yeah.
And then to get some baseline blood and then maybe take the algae, and I don't know if you'd have to let it get through the system though. That's the thing. I don't know how you could get it through quicker, but
Well, here's the thing with spirulina. It's not even a plant. It's a bacteria. Remember, first life on Earth, it was a cyanobacteria. So it
right.
does get absorbed into your bloodstream almost instantly if you chew it, and only in minutes if you
Oh, you could
swallow it.
totally do that experiment.
Yeah, you could sit there and chew it and you would see the difference within minutes, honestly. If they did it with me, I don't know if I'd go without my algae again because I'd probably get another cold.
Yeah, to go off it. Yeah, you'd have to
Yeah,
go off.
yeah, that would be incredible. I love those. I've never had my own live blood, but I've live blood analysis, but I've seen some papers and it's pretty extraordinary.
And the
Yeah.
videos where exactly what you were describing about the hemoglobin. And it's literally like these balls bouncing off each other
Yeah.
because you've got this, if you've got healthy blood, you've got this negative, beautiful charge.
Yeah.
Keeping them all separate. Yeah. Oh.
Yes, and 90% of total iron is stored in your blood, but then there's also stored iron, which is can be a problem, which is another chapter of my book.
Oh,
and
I'm
algae
so
helps with
glad.
that too.
Yeah, we've had Morley Robbins on.
Oh,
the
I love
podcast.
his book, Cure Your Health,
Your
Cure Your
Fatigue.
Energy, Your Fatigue.
Cure
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he's brilliant. Yeah.
He's so brilliant. Yeah, I show up to his Q&As almost every 2 weeks. I just can't
Oh,
get
God
enough.
bless you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love people like that. And he's like me. You find something that's so esoteric, and then you just go down that rabbit hole and put together some theories that nobody else has done. But when you look at it, you go, that makes sense. It's a bit of a tough read because it's so sciencey. So I have to read it again. But yeah, I loved that book. Terrific book.
So basically with we're talking about the zeta potential when we're talking about the blood bouncing off each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've talked about that before, so I just wanted to connect it for our listeners.
Yes.
Okay, and connect me. What's the zeta potential?
So that's the charge that each hemoglobin has, right? The outside, Laura?
Each red blood cell.
Yeah, red
Okay.
blood cell.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, you definitely want to have a good zeta potential
Ooh.
to be
And
healthy.
then
It's,
when
I'll have
you
a
have a
better
low
zeta
zeta
potential than
potential,
dating potential. I know that for sure.
and when it's not good, that's when they're sticking. That's when you
Yes.
see like, the effects of the cell phone and things. Everything's globbed together and it doesn't look nice.
Yeah.
So that's what your visual, that's a visual of zeta potential, basically.
Yes.
And
And
you're
so what, and one of the reasons why algae, particularly chlorella, and also spirulina, it's not just that it has high chlorophyll that builds back the hemoglobin, it restores the negative charge. So all of that clumping goes away. Yeah, this is why within days, if you people's blood pressure is normalized. If they have high cholesterol, it's normalized because it's healing the blood vessels where all that plaque buildup has occurred. Now, number one, it's
Yep.
restoring the alkalinity. It also has vitamin K2, which moves excess calcium out of soft tissue and into your bones. A lot of people don't know, but arteriosclerosis, a lot of what's is hardening of the arteries, and what's hardening is calcium. We're all taking way too much calcium, and no, and we're all deficit on vitamin K2, which is this magical vitamin that moves this calcium. Other examples of soft tissue, by the way, are your brain, hello Alzheimer's, your skin, hello wrinkles,
Yeah.
kidney stones, calcification, and uric acid. Right. So,
Yeah.
so this is why I always say algae is your one-stop shop, because maybe you'll take it for the protein, or maybe you'll take it for energy, but your arteries are going to thank you, your blood's going to thank you, your skin will thank you. Yeah, and your grocery bill will go down buying fewer groceries.
Yeah, and regardless of why you're taking it, the byproduct
Just
is
take
you get
it.
all the benefits.
For
Yeah,
goodness
just
sakes,
take it. Just take it.
I have to follow back to you getting sick, going off the algae. There's probably there could be two reasons. Is when I don't know, did you if you flew on a plane?
I
I'm
did
assuming.
fly. I didn't get. I flew on a plane to New York. And I
Okay.
wasn't sick in New York, and I
No.
took the train to Boston, and
Okay.
it wasn't until after I got to the first day I was okay. I got the cold the second or third day in Boston.
Right.
So now I had been 3 days off of my algae and 2 days into the cold, miserable, crappy weather of Boston.
But I was gonna say to add to that, being on an airplane and possibly a train too, you're in this metal box, right, with
Yeah,
all the what we call the non-native electromagnetic frequencies.
yeah,
And the best thing you can do when you get there is to just take your shoes off or go barefoot on the ground as soon as you get off of a flight or even off of a train, and that'll help the zeta potential.
grounded.
And then pile in all
Yeah.
the
Oh, I
ENERGYbits.
know. I know. I do sleep on a grounding sheet in Boston, but apparently didn't help either. But you're absolutely right. And that's why, again, if you can get yourself to a place that's warm, like I did finally, I can do that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, we want to ask you so many questions
Yes.
about just
Do
algae.
you
Let's
want me
start
to?
with algae. Yeah,
Yeah,
so we
let's start
have,
with that.
and Dia brought this cute little
Isn't that
book.
cute? I know.
Yeah, she brought it to California for me, all the way to California to meet me with this book. And can you just like, so with this whole algae love story, and but I'm going to spoil the ending for people. It ends with love you to bits. And I just like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so cute. But
I started making that as a presentation, and then I thought, oh, it needs to get prettier. So we prettied it up as a presentation. And then I thought this could be like a little children's book for adults about
I
algae,
think
because it's
so.
just the right amount of copy, just the right images. That little thing took me 9 months to do. No chat GBT,
So
by the way.
cute.
I write everything
Oh,
straight from the brain. And I am so proud of that thing, and people love it. So that's why I'm
yeah.
writing a real book, a real adult book. But so yeah, I can walk you through some of the pages in there, because the first
Yeah.
page, as you noticed, because I pretty much know them off by heart,
Okay.
is
Yep.
that people have a misconception about what algae is. They either don't know about it, or they only give it a negative thought. They think about it as a pond or scum that washes up on the shore and closes their favorite beach. And I like to remind people that algae is actually there as Mother Nature's cleanup crew, because the reason the algae showed up is because there were toxins and pollutants in the water, chemicals that you couldn't see, but algae absorbs them and kills bacteria. And it does the same thing in your body too. So when you see one of those algae blooms, still stay away from them, because they're toxic, because they've just sucked up all the junk that was there. But they're there to protect you, and it does the same thing in your body. But that is a particular type of algae. And what we sell, and frankly, if you go to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, that's not the kind of algae that's washing up on shore, closing your favorite beach. The type of algae that we sell, and also folks like Trader Joe's, they are grown in fresh water. It's called hydroponics. And I'm going to show a picture of farms. Here's a spirulina farm, and here's a chlorella farm. By the way, in 2 weeks, I am flying to Taiwan to visit these farms, and I'm bringing a video team with me. So we're going to have lots of video coverage, me and the algae. Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
So they're in natural light, right?
Yes, there's a new technique that's evolved, which is pretty cool. And this is truly the way that we're going to feed the world. And they're grown underground in glass tubes with LED lights. So it's not, I'm a purist. I like Mother Nature. So we grow it with Mother Nature, but there's limitations geographically and seasonality wise. But there's a farm, for example, in Iceland. They have 5 floors underground growing spirulina in glass tubes with LED lights. And they grow it specifically for the omega-3, because algae, spirulina's got lots of omega-3. And they pull off, I love this part, they pull off the protein because it has the highest protein in the world, and they donate it to Africa. How cool is that?
Wow.
That's mic drop, right? My goal is to help people be healthy and fed, and there's a whole lot more nutrition in algae than rice and ever will have or could dream of. But for now, we grow ours the old school way, outdoors in very clean areas, not near any cities or anything, out in the middle of nowhere. And then we dry them, and what makes us special is we dry them without high heat, them into these little tents. Now, this high heat process, you think, oh, how important is that? That's probably the most important thing, because as I tell people, growing algae isn't like growing broccoli. It's more like making wine. And wine is affected by the sun angle. That's why a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand tastes a whole lot different from the Sauvignon Blanc from California. And then it's also the wine processes, the way that the wine is made. In wine, it's the barrels and how long you're in the barrels. I don't drink much wine or know much about it, but it's the process. Same with algae. Now, when you dry anything over the temperature of 114 degrees, what happens? You kill enzymes. You deactivate them. They're cooked, they're fried. That's why, unfortunately, a lot of those dried powders that people love to put in their smoothies, they have to use high heat to mix them. And a lot of those ingredients, which normally include spirulina and chlorella, you have deactivated some of the most important nutrients. And there's a very important antioxidant in spirulina and chlorella called superoxide dismutase that protects your mitochondria from free radical damage. Yep. And it's also an enzyme. So you may have it physically, but it's deactivated. I tell people it's like buying a car, getting a great deal on a car, except you lift the hood and there's no engine. It wasn't such a great deal, was it?
Catherine, I heard you explain the superoxide dismutase as with an analogy of a Gulf umbrella. Can you explain that for people? Because I think that they'll just get it when
So this stuff called superoxide dismutase, I know it's a mouthful and it's hard to remember. And before I do that, let me explain why it's called what it is. There are free radicals in our bodies, and we need a little bit of them to keep things going on balance. But what happens as you get, especially as you get older and as our world gets more toxic, you end up with more free radicals than you want. And there's a particular type of free radical that's only released in the mitochondria as a byproduct of this ATP production. ATP is what is your cellular energy, and it's made by your mitochondria. But what people don't know is a byproduct of all that great energy is this stuff that's like an exhaust, and it's called superoxide. Think of it like when you have a log in a fire, you get sparks that occasionally spurt out from the fire, from the log. And that's okay.
Great analogy.
Yeah, those are like the free radicals. But if the sparks get a little out of control, you can end up with a 5-alarm fire. That's what happens in the mitochondria level when you don't have enough of these special antioxidants, which are called superoxide dismutase. Because the free radical, it's called dismutase because dismutase means to dim. Think of them as a dimmer switch. It's dimming the free radical called superoxide. So that's why it's called superoxide dismutase. It's dimming down the free radical. So,
Okay.
what exactly does it do? The good news is your body makes this stuff for you from the moment you're born, just like it makes hormones, it makes melatonin, it makes a lot of juicy stuff. So you're in good shape. You have enough of this superoxide dismutase. So what it does is when these free radicals, superoxide, are released, the superoxide dismutase is like a fire truck gets in there. Whoa! But actually what it really is like is a big golf umbrella. Because if anyone's ever got caught in the rain, whether you're golfing or shopping and you have one of those big golf umbrellas, we've all seen those. You can get a family of 5 under those. You pop that thing open, no drops will reach you. So you haven't stopped the rain, but you stop getting wet. Superoxide dismutase does not stop the free radicals because they're a natural byproduct of ATP production. But what they do is they neutralize them and convert them into water and oxygen, which does not harm the mitochondria. In fact, you need both of those to keep your cell healthy and ding, ding, alkaline. So you have this big golf umbrella from the moment you're born until about 20, 30, starts to get a little smaller after 30. By 40, your body slows down the production of your superoxide dismutase. Now your golf umbrella is about the size of one of those city totes umbrella, those collapsible ones that blow up inside out and aren't exactly very functional. So now your poor mitochondria are dodging free radicals, getting hit every once in a while. They take a shot here and they get a burn here. It's like they're not in 5-alarm fire yet, but you're getting pretty close. And then you hit 50. And that golf umbrella, your body slows down the production even more. And now it's about the size of a cocktail umbrella. Pretty useless. So this is when, no surprise to me, when a lot of accelerated age, disease kicks in, fatigue, weight gain, because mitochondria damage dysfunction is found to be the cause of virtually every single chronic disease. And it's related, and because what it does is it causes inflammation. And inflammation is known as the silent killer because it can be going on for decades without symptoms. And eventually, by the time symptoms like brain fog, weight gain, bad digestion, poor sleep show up, you've been having mitochondria damage for a long time. It just never showed up. And the way I help people understand the inflammation piece is, when you sprain your ankle, right? It gets swollen. That's inflammation. That's localized in short-term inflammation, but it swells. And the same thing happened to your mitochondria. When they get damaged and there's inflammation, they swell. And the way that the actual ATP is produced is through a technical process called the electron transport chain. And if you've ever seen a relay race, in a relay race, you have runners and they pass a baton to the next runner who passes the baton. They try to win the race, blah, blah, blah. In the electron transport chain, you have proteins, there's molecules, instead of runners. And instead of a baton, they're passing electrons. So when you have a healthy mitochondria, those runners are nice and close to each other. They pass the electron, one to the next, boom, there's 4 of them. And then boom, there's a few more processes, but I'll try to keep it simple. You get the ATP. Beautiful, right? But when there's inflammation, it's like it swells. So those runners get further and further apart from one another. They need like a telescope. Hey, buddy, like, are you there? I'm trying to pass the electron. Like, where are you? So they can't pass the electron because they're too far apart from one another. 2 things happen. Now, there's no race being won because the electrons couldn't get past. So guess what? You don't have as much energy. So less ATP. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, when the electron didn't get passed to the next runner so they could finish the race, it doesn't disappear. It leaks out. And guess what? It becomes a free radical. Another free radical. That what? Oh, causes inflammation. That what? Oh, causes more expansion, more swelling. That what? Oh, causes the runners to be further and further apart from one another. So this is how you get a downhill spiral in your health, because nothing seems to, and here's the other thing, the mitochondria are locked on lock. Most antibodies get in there. There's a second inner membrane in your mitochondria. It's the only cell in your entire body with 2 membranes. Everything else has a lipid membrane, and so does the mitochondria. But it has this second inner membrane that is impenetrable by drugs, thank God, by toxins, but also by most antioxidants. This is why superoxide dismutase, which is the one that neutralizes those free radicals, is so important, because it can get into that inner membrane and it can reduce the free radicals to water and oxygen. And so when you lose the production of superoxide dismutase as you get older, I have a solution for you. The highest concentration of it is found in spirulina and chlorella, mostly spirulina. But the caveat is it can't be heated over 114 degrees like all of the less expensive algae do, because they cut corners. High heat means they can get to market quickly, so they do. But that deactivates the superoxide dismutase. That's one of the reasons why ours works so well. Or you could get fresh or frozen spirulina. Your superoxide dismutase will be intact in those situations as well, because they have not been exposed to high heat. So and just so you know, there's 25,000 scientific papers talking about the importance of superoxide dismutase for reducing inflammation, for preventing Alzheimer's, preventing heart disease. Again, it's completely validated in science. The missing piece is that nobody knows that you can get superoxide dismutase in spirulina or chlorella, because it's not found in any other food. There's a small amount in wheatgrass and minuscule amount in cabbage, like 7,000 times more superoxide dismutase in spirulina than cabbage. So it's virtually non-existent, therapeutic amounts, non-existent. And
Catherine,
so the scientists don't know that yet.
I just got to ask you, in the journey, what about phytoplankton? Did you go down that route looking at because I thought phytoplankton had some.
Phytoplankton is a variation of spirulina, and it's grown in Klamath Lake. The one particular cluster of it is found in Klamath Lake. It's basically a blue-green algae. And maybe I should go through the hierarchy of what algae is. So phytoplankton is a blue-green algae. So yes, it has, I'm sure it would have superoxide dismutase, but there's problems with algae that are grown in fresh water or oceans. They absorb microtoxins, because you can't keep microtoxins out of fresh bodies of water. It's impossible. And I have some papers that show there were microtoxins in the phytoplankton from Klamath Lake. But
I just thought it was an ocean. I just made an assumption it was only oceanographic phytoplankton.
No, it's in fresh water as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And so if it's okay, I'll rewind a bit to give people sort of the overarching view of what algae is.
Great.
So algae is its own food category, and there are two main subcategories: macroalgae and microalgae. Macroalgae is only in oceans, and it's pretty much it's stuff you can see. Generally, it's the stringy stuff like seaweed, but sea moss would fit in this category as well. But it's generally very high in fiber, high in iodine, because it comes from the ocean, but it actually is very low nutritionally. And there's only a handful of, I shouldn't say there's a handful, there's hundreds versus tens of thousands of strains of microalgae. So macroalgae in the ocean, high fiber, low nutrition. The other side is called microalgae, and it's called micro because it's microscopic in size. I read in a book that 1 million microalgae could fit on the head of a pin. That's how tiny it was. And it wasn't discovered until many years after macroalgae. Now, microalgae is everywhere. It's in the oceans, but it's also in lakes, rivers, streams, the soil, your aquarium, and it's grown, as I mentioned, as a food crop hydroponically in Asia. And there are thousands and thousands of strains of microalgae. The two main ones are blue-green and green, but there's still tens of thousands of other types. Within blue-green, the more thousands of strains, like phytoplankton would be one of those, although phytoplankton technically would really be, it's a cross between a macro and a microalgae. That's interesting to think about it. But blue-green algae, the most common is spirulina. That's the one that's grown in large quantities in freshwater farms. And the main green algae is chlorella for the same reason. It's the one that's grown. Now, there's thousands of other strains that one day might be grown, but these are the two that really started being grown for mass consumption in they started researching it in the 50s, but in the 60s for mass consumption, and then it really took off after that. And 99.9% of it is grown in Asia. So that's India, Taiwan, China, a little bit in Korea. There's a small amount in Hawaii, but it's pretty small. So most of it's in Asia. I'm trying to build the community awareness of algae and build an algae agricultural industry in America, preferably in Florida, which has the same climate as Taiwan, which is where we grow ours. Taiwan is known as the gold standard for algae. So it's a food group, macro, micro. Within macro, it's ocean, high fiber, low nutrition. Micro, it's everywhere. It's grown everywhere. High nutrition, low or virtually no fiber. So spirulina has no fiber because it's not even a plant. It's called a cyanobacteria. So it's a bacteria. This is why it gets into your bloodstream so quickly, because there's nothing for your body to break down. Chlorella does belong to the plant kingdom. And by the way, I designed all our packaging. So the spirulina is a blue-green algae. So I put it in a blue bag and I put it in water because it was the first life on Earth that emerged from water.
Yeah.
And chlorella is in a green package because it's a green algae and there's a plant on it because it does belong to the plant kingdom and has a hard cellulose wall. In fact, that cellulose wall is so hard that it attaches the toxins, but it also feeds the gut biome. So and I can next, if you want, go into the difference between the two of them and how they function differently in your bodies because they are quite different. Just like sometimes you might have twins, but they may have completely different personalities. So spirulina was the first life on Earth, a blue-green algae, two pigments, the blue one's phycocyanin, as I mentioned earlier, the green one's chlorophyll. And spirulina is pretty much known for giving people energy. And it gives you energy in the moment as well long-term. And when I talk about energy, we're not talking about a stimulant. There's no caffeine, chemicals, or sugar. It's not like a coffee drink. It's not like any kind of sugar, which just moves the molecules faster. This has a lot of the highest protein in the world, and all the protein's already in amino acid form. There's 18 of the 20, including the 9 your body can't make. So it's a complete protein, and it's loaded with B. I looked at loaded with B vitamins because the B vitamins take the glucose and turn it into energy. So spirulina, because it has the B vitamins and the aminos are so available because they're already individual, and because spirulina gets absorbed so quickly, you do get some energy. Now, it's not a rush. It's what I call quiet energy. So you just notice that you're more alert or you feel fresh. And that's how I describe it, just fresh. That's it. Nothing, no drama with algae, which was perfect because I'm a no drama girl myself. So that's what it does in the moment. Now, what's really cool is it has that superoxide dismutase as well that I talked about that gets into the mitochondria as quickly as all the other good stuff. And it starts to heal the mitochondria. So now long term, you're getting increased energy. So you get energy bump up in the moment, and then you get long-term energy as well. And one of the other ways you get energy in the moment is that blue phycocyanin that's in the spirulina. I didn't mention it earlier, but in that electron transport chain where you have those runners, there's two helper cells along the way, kind of like having little Ferraris to help the runners if they need a little bit of a break. And one of those Ferraris is something called cytochrome C. Now, in a healthy cell, the blue pigment in spirulina speeds up that Ferrari so that the runner can, with the electron, can cross the finish line faster, which is one of the reasons why you get energy from spirulina and not from chlorella. It's because of that blue pigment in there. By the way, if you have a senescent cell or a cancer cell, here again is Mother Nature. Her brilliance is just breathtaking. Okay, are you ready? This is mic drop. If you have a senescent or a cancer cell and you're taking spirulina, the blue pigment, that phycocyanin, that would speed up the runner in a healthy cell, you know what it does? That cytochrome C molecule, it ejects it, which triggers something called capases, which kills the cell. Unbelievable. Cancer cells can't kill themselves. This blue phycocyanin will trigger what's called apoptosis in cancer cells. This is why I call spirulina intelligent food, because you have to be intelligent to take it, and it knows what to do in your body. Healthy cell, you get the key to the Ferrari. Unhealthy cell, boom, you're out the door. Crazy, right?
That's an
Wow.
awesome explanation.
And it's all proven in science. You can Google, if you know how to spell phycocyanin in cancer treatments, you'll see the same stuff that I'm reading on PubMed. Yeah, it's pretty.
Why are we not hearing this in the mainstream? It's crazy.
I get asked this all the time. So remember I said 99% of algae is grown in Asia. So we don't grow up with it. We drive by cornfields and wheat fields and tomato patches and it's stuff that's really not, no offense to strawberries, but corn and wheat don't really cut it nutritionally. But we don't see any algae farms. In Asia, you can't go to school or to work without driving by an algae farm. It's just normal. It's normal there. And then there is nobody people that just sell stuff. And I didn't start this company to sell stuff. I started this company to help people be healthy because I knew I helped my sister and I thought I could help more people. So I need to know everything I can so I can help people as best I can. So I've just been this crazy woman down a rabbit hole, and I had to learn all the science about why this stuff was working so well. Nobody else seems curious. Actually, that's not true. I'll back up. The scientists are curious. Remember I mentioned earlier, there's 100,000 studies, 60,000 on spirulina, but 40,000 on chlorella. But the problem is, if any of us know scientists, I know quite a few of them, I love them to death. Thank God for them, because I couldn't do what I'm doing without their amazing research. But they don't know how to communicate their complex scientific knowledge to normal people, to consumers. They can't do it. So nobody has. And so I'm this intermediary. I'm straddling science and the rest of the world, trying to put the pieces together in a way that makes the science understandable. Because here's the thing, if you don't understand your body, you will be grabbing at anything to try to help you recover or avoid something. And people are just dying to sell you stuff. But if you understand what your body needs and you're not afraid of it and you understand the processes, it's much more, it's calming, and you can start to understand what truly you need. And the great thing about algae is that it truly helps everybody with virtually everything. And it can be added to other things to leverage other things like red light, for example. But and that's why I'm writing this book. I do podcasts, but I needed to get to more people. So that's what the book is called, Love Your Health to Bits with Algae. But yeah, that's why you don't know about it, because it's not grown here. The scientists and the agriculturalists and scientists, there's quite it's a small but very passionate community globally about algae. We know what this stuff is going to do for the world, but we had to get people to use it and understand it. And I've always been a great communicator. I've always loved writing. So I backed into this. I argued with the universe for years, saying, find somebody who has science background. But I taught myself the science, and then I got my PhD in natural health so I could convince myself that I guess I do know a few things.
Yeah, that's one of the visions of this podcast, is to get the science broken down and out to the people so they understand. And when, just to back up what you were saying, for people grabbing at straws for anything, especially somebody where like the cancer already hit or the autoimmune's already hit, and then they're really grabbing at everything because they're in a more desperate situation, and the allopathic system isn't equipped to but throw a pill on it. And at that point, it's already. So I'm glad you're in the rabbit hole with us. And
Absolutely. I love my rabbit hole. And I love everybody else's rabbit. This community is so wonderful. And anybody who's in it, you always find there was a personal story that got them there. And you can trust pretty much anyone in this community, because it's not easy being a lone voice out there on the front of a ship saying, hey people, over here, there's a light here, we're trying to help you. There's all these people drowning in the ocean, and you want to be this light to go help them. And here's the other thing, when you're drowning in fear, they've shown that the amygdala, which is your executive decision-making part of your brain, shuts down. So you can't absorb new information, you just resist it. And so our current medical system is set up to keep you intentionally or unintentionally in fear. And so that you will just follow their instructions and blindly take all these medications. And I'm not knocking medications. Sometimes they absolutely are required, but you can either help not prevent the situation from occurring if you stay open to prevention, and then you can also ease the symptoms with other non-invasive ways that have been are available thanks to Mother Nature and companies in this community.
Catherine, in terms of, you mentioned helping people, can we talk or pick your brain on if people order these, say they get a bag of ENERGYbits, which is the chlorella, and they get a
Yes.
bag of the ENERGYbits, what would a daily,
How do they use? Yeah.
yeah, how do you use it?
Yes, and I have
Also,
to explain what the chlorella does too.
yeah, okay, let's do chlorella first, but
Okay,
when,
all
when
right,
we're
we'll do,
doing that,
okay, all right,
yeah.
I'll wrap up. So energizing at the mitochondria level. By the way, I also call spirulina brain food because of the benefits to the mitochondria, and your brain has the most mitochondria, 2 million per neurotransmitter in your entire body. So when you're starting to see benefits in your mitochondria, the first place you're going to get benefits is going to be your brain. So this is very much brain food. Also has high essential fatty acids. Your brain is 20% fat. By the way, your brain uses 70% of your body's ATP. So that's why there's so many mitochondria. So brain food, energizing, satisfies your hunger. If you know anybody on a GLP-1 or trying to lose weight, please make them take spirulina, because the high protein will ensure that you don't see muscle wasting, and it's got 40 vitamins and minerals. So that's usually a morning or afternoon algae, because you're tired and hungry. You could take 10 in the morning, lunch 10 in the afternoon. Take 30 for lunch if you want. There is no upper limit. It's food. So we have NHL players that take 75 spirulina before a hockey game because they need lots of focus and energy on the ice. And then they take 75 chlorella after to pull all the lactic acids. 10 is a starting point. 30 would be lunch. You wouldn't be hungry for 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, 1 calorie per tablet, get all your nourishment. It's pretty sweet. A morning algae for energy, hunger, and brain focus.
People fasting?
Fasting is great. It doesn't interfere with your fast. You get 30 tablets will give you 5 grams of protein, which doesn't sound a lot, except 5 grams of protein is 5 grams of aminos. It's a 1-for-1 conversion because it gets absorbed so quickly in the protein's already in aminos. And that low amount does not break a fast. Just to compare it to a chicken or steak or something, your body has to break the protein down to aminos, which can take days. And then if you don't have the factors and cofactors, very often you only end up absorbing 10% as aminos. You ate 50 grams of protein, but you may only get 5 grams as aminos. So that's why 5 grams of either spirulina will give you 5 grams of protein and 5 grams of aminos. It's a 1-for-1 ratio. Very efficient protein.
I didn't understand that till just now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
chlorella
amazing that you can take it while fasting, because it can
Yeah.
really get people through their fast.
Oh, completely. I intermittent fast pretty much every day. I start my day with water and lemon, and then I have a tea, and I have my spirulina and chlorella all morning. I put sea salt on mine, or Himalayan salt, because your body needs salt as well. And also it tricks your taste buds thinking that you've eaten something. So it's very satisfying, energizing, focus. And then maybe around 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock, I might have my main meal of the day. But I start taking spirulina or chlorella with pistachio nuts, any kind of nuts, a trail mix. But yeah, I go all morning with just the spirulina and chlorella. So I'll probably have 30 or 40, 50. I eat them in large quantity.
I was thinking more of you maybe doing that for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're more in the concerned with leptin. That's another whole rabbit hole. Yeah,
leptin or lectin? Which one?
Both really. But
Yeah,
in the quantum biology space, I'm really trying to optimize people's leptins, really encouraging to eat breakfast 30 to 60 minutes after sunrise.
Yeah.
And then having this, really trying to get to 2 meals a day instead of, and that's where I'm just thinking, oh my God, you could use.
I can't imagine eating 3 meals a day. What a waste of time.
I know, it is.
And free radicals, because I'll tell you, it gives you hours back and helps with your mitochondria, because of course all that food throws off free radicals, which more little mitochondria are trying to keep up with everything. So that's why intermittent fasting and fasting in general causes what's called autophagy and apoptosis, which is cleaning of the cells, because they get a break. It's just like anywhere, you got to have a break. You got to clean up, whether it's on the weekends. You got to give your cells a break. And so when you do intermittent fasting, you're giving them a break so they can They can fix things, they can mend things and clean it up, polish the windows, and then the cells are going to start working again. If you keep throwing food at them all day long for 3 major meals, they'll never get a break. They'll never clean the windows. It's like getting a Goldie in your goldfish bowl, getting murky water, and poor Goldie flips upside down. He's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what's going on in your mitochondria. You eat
Okay,
them
so
all the
now
time.
we covered.
So chlorella, now
So now we're
chlorella
gonna do
is
chlorella.
a wellness algae, and does belong to the plant kingdom, which is why there's a plant on the package. Detoxing, so it helps you recover from your day, or recover from sports, or recover from sickness. How does it do that? We already talked about chlorophyll. It has the highest chlorophyll in the world. Chlorophyll, I talked about it, blood, but it also kills bacteria in your mouth, in your colon. Bad bacteria, kills the bad bacteria. Also, the chlorella, the hard cell wall, attaches to heavy metals, all of them: lead, mercury, radiation, aluminum, pesticides, glyphosate, alcohol, mold spores, and pulls them out, chelates them. So it's very detoxing, not just cleansing, detoxing. It's a chelator, which is a big, there's not many chelators out there. Then it has fiber, because it has a cell wall, that feeds the gut biome, because so you want to give the good bacteria what they need to generate what's called short chain fatty acids. So it does that too. Now, it also has the combination of the high chlorophyll and a bunch of other nutrients stimulates what's called peristalsis, which is a fancy word for saying bowel movements. And this is also part of the detox pathway, because there's actually 4 pathways for removing toxins: breath, sweat, urine, and bowel movements. And so many people are constipated. Why? Because they're eating processed foods, dairy, they're traveling too much, not exercising, not enough water, too many stress, not enough sleep. I think pretty much everybody is constipated. So this is the best way to get rid of constipation, and it's effortless. It's just very smooth. Oh, I will give you one more tip. It has nothing to do with algae. Fresh pineapple, ladies and gentlemen. Add fresh pineapple to your diet if you have any digestive or issues or constipation. It's the bromelain that triggers digestion and bowel movements. It's unbelievable. Mother Nature. So the two of them work really well. Chlorella also has the highest. Go ahead.
Sorry, just for a protocol, I'm curious because we're both practitioners.
Yeah.
So if someone had
Pineapple?
constipation, yeah, no, just for the chlorella, the recovery bits, how many a day?
Same thing. So and I was going to get to that in a minute, but spirulina,
Okay.
10 tablets is a starter dose,
Okay.
per day. More is always better. If you, for therapeutic purposes, 30 is better. If you're trying to correct something,
Okay.
or if you want to really prevent something, you want 30. You can always have more, but 10 is kind of your starter dose. 30 is therapeutic.
Okay, perfect.
Same with chlorella. 10 will give you the chlorophyll, the cleansing, all the nutrients that build your immune system, but you need 30 for detox or for bowel movements. Chlorella also has the highest tryptophan, which is a precursor to melatonin, which helps you sleep. So it helps you get into a deep sleep. That's why we're doing this Aura Ring thing. And when you sleep, here's the drum roll, that's when your body detoxes and repairs. So deep sleep is very therapeutic. So you do need the 30 to help you get there. So this is generally an evening algae. You can have it all day, anytime during the day, and I do, but please take it before bed. Again, at least 10 or 30 if it's a therapeutic amount. Yeah.
It's like your turkey dinner.
It's got 5 times more tryptophan than turkey.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all, and you can go online and you'll see that. And we do lab tests to document all that too. So yeah, it's very much a therapeutic, healing, detoxing, repairing algae, and it helps you get rid of what I call the junk in your trunk, because that's stuff that your body didn't want, and we need to move it out of there. Otherwise, it's like having a garbage truck parked in front of your house permanently. So you can see, and so for that reason, all those things I mentioned are pretty much gut related. Your colon, your stomach, the fiber, the elimination. So this is really much a gut health algae. Spirulina is very much a brain health algae. Spirulina, think of it this way: spirulina puts nutrition in, chlorella pulls toxins out. And if you want to think of it, I probably should have done the other way around, because in Boston, having a parking spot is a pretty big deal, especially if when it's snowing. But if someone steals your parking spot, you're out of luck. what do? You call a police or a tow truck to pull that car out of there. So even if you had great nutrition, if you have toxins sitting in your receptor cells, which is how stuff gets into your cells, it's going to be hard for the nutrition to get in. So think of chlorella as your tow truck or police force pulling out the tow truck
Yeah.
so that the nutrition can get in.
Love it.
They work together. They're a
Yeah.
team. They're your team. Chlorella has lots of other
Okay.
great nutrition too. So it's not just pulling toxins out, but think of nutrition in, toxins out. Spirulina is an AM algae. Chlorella is a PM algae. Spirulina is a brain food. Chlorella is a gut food. And of course, we know they're joined by the vagus nerve. So they talk to each other.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
True
I
enough.
love the separation of them. Now you do have, okay, let's go over the different products you have. You have 4.
Yes.
Let's go over
Yeah.
those. So we
Okay.
went over the main 2.
Yes. So we have another spirulina, which is called Beauty Bits. I don't have a picture of it. Now the reason, and it is absolutely identical to ENERGYbits. And I'm not trying to fool anybody. But what happened was, as you started the company, because my sister, so women's health has always been important to me. But so the first couple of years, I noticed women just weren't buying the spirulina. And I literally asked my girlfriends, I said, why do you think women aren't buying it? They were buying the chlorella, weren't buying the spirulina. And their honest answer was, you got to make it pink and give it a cute name. And it turns out there's more amino acids, so more collagen than collagen powder, which builds your skin and your hair. By the way, I turned 70 this year, 70, in a few months.
You have gorgeous hair.
So it does. It's all mine. There's no extensions there. So I thought, okay, I'll do anything to help women feel comfortable and like pulling this out of their handbag. So I made a second brand, and here's a little pouch of it. Called it Beauty Bits.
Okay.
I refer to my brands as my children because I love them so much. So I call these two my twins. Absolutely
twins, okay.
identical. Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely
they're
identical,
twins.
they're just packaged differently. If you like, if you're in spas, love this one. Women love this one, but they are absolutely identical. So I'm not trying to trick you, just want to make you happy. Then we went through chlorella. Now we do have another brand. I'm going to show you a canister.
Vitality Bits.
Vitality Bits.
Yes.
And the reason for that one is it's a blend of the 2 algae, spirulina and chlorella. Because some people, they're looking for simplicity. They don't want to think, oh, I have to take the blue one in the morning and the green one at night. So this one, they can take the same one, same amount in the morning, same at night, and they only have to buy one thing. However, as a practitioner, I would urge you not to start people on this. And the reason for this is because some people find they prefer the spirulina, or you can muscle test and find out if they're best with spirulina. Or some people like the chlorella, or they muscle test not for the chlorella. If you start them with a blend, you'll never know. So at least the first time, I would suggest you get them on get them separately. And if they love them both and they just want simplicity, then if they want to, then they can go get the blended one. So that's the option.
That makes sense.
But it really depends what they're using it for. If someone's looking for hunger, it's only spirulina. Or if they want really mostly energy, or they're having brain issues, it would be mostly spirulina. If they're having mostly gut issues or immune health issues, sleep issues, it would be this. But if they just want a little bit of everything, the blend would be good, but only after they've tried the 2 separately.
Okay. That makes sense.
You asked me about lectins earlier. I just wanted to make sure, you may have said it and I missed it, but that this is a great food for the carnivore community.
Absolutely, because there's no lectins and oxalates in them. And for people who don't know what they are, they're sharp proteins that are found in plants. Some categories of plants have more than others, like spinach and kale are very high in lectins. And the reason why plants develop these lectins and oxalates, because they damage your stomach lining, ours, the bugs, the predators, and the plants develop them so the bugs would leave them alone because it hurts their tummies too. But algae is not a land plant. It came from the ocean. Didn't need to develop lectins and oxalates to protect itself. So not there. Pretty sweet. So yes, it's absolutely fantastic because carnivores, they're not eating vegetables, and a lot of them, I have to applaud them for that. Kale is really not that good for you. So I would stay away from that myself. And when you go to restaurants, you're eating salads that are sprayed with glyphosate, so it makes eating out not as much fun. So you can get all your nutritional, your phytonutrients and your chlorophyll from algae and not have any downside. No lectins, no oxalates, no pesticides, no toxins. It's probably going to be, at least ours, I would hazard to guess, say it's probably the safest, purest food you'll ever put in your body. And so no contraindications, good for every single age group. Babies, you can put spirulina in their water bottle. It'll help the baby grow, especially their brain. Teenagers, kids, give them either their age or half their age. So if they're 6, give them 3 to 6 a day. If they're 10, give them 5 to 10. They can have more if they want, but everyone seems to like some sort of guidelines. So that would be, and pets go crazy over these things. Cats, dogs. I've had people send me videos of pet raccoons. We've had bears. Honestly, it's unbelievable how the pets love this stuff. It's an expensive treat, but they get the same problems.
Yeah, I take care of dogs, so I've just had this vision
Oh,
of
yeah,
the dogs are going to go home with green teeth.
Yeah, just be careful. I tell you, if you give them to your dog and then you leave the bag on the counter, I can promise you that dog will find a way to leap up on the counter. I can't tell you how many emails and photos I've had from people telling us their little lap dog jumped up on the counter, ate the whole bag, and but they were fine. They had pooped green for a little while, but they were fine. Yeah.
Speaking of teeth, do you prefer to chew them or just
I love to chew them because I just love the taste, and I put sea salt on them. It gives it just a little bit. And the chlorella, most people like the chlorella because it's more like a sunflower, soy nut flavor. And when you mix it with pistachio nuts, it's delicious, or macadamia nuts, delicious. Now, the spirulina is more difficult for most people, I will tell you, because it has much higher protein and much higher essential fatty acids. So it's really chewy and it will stick a little bit to your teeth.
Oh my God, it does.
Yeah, it comes off, but
yeah,
people freak out a little bit. But so swallowing them is, you get the same benefit. It just takes a little longer to get into your bloodstream, but it's completely a personal choice.
I love to chew them. I find them delicious.
I know. I don't mind chewing them either. I like chewing them.
Yeah, it's whatever your palate is. Sometimes you'll be chewing the spirulina and then you think, oh, I think I prefer the chlorella for a while. And then you'll chew the chlorella and back to the spirulina.
Now, I know
you don't get a lot of hard things to chew these days. So it's a treat.
Yeah.
Crunch. Like instead of, sometimes
mush.
I'll crave chips and I know they're not good for me, but I want that crunch, but I can get that from, I noticed I can totally get that from the ENERGYbits.
Yeah, I think Ben Greenfield told me that on Friday nights, he and his wife always watch movies, and his wife would always get a bag of popcorn, and he would eat the spirulina and chlorella with sea salt on them. That was his little movie snack.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you could probably even put them in a bag of popcorn. I think that might be even cooler.
Now, Laura and I wanted you to speak to menopause and how this would be beneficial.
Oh, yeah. Great question. And I'm way over it. Been through the eye of the hurricane. What happens for women, and by the way, I've come up with a new name for menopause. I'm going to call it mental pause because it's just one of the symptoms. And here's why. When we get to menopause, we're in the 40s-ish, and that's exactly the same time this other very protective antioxidant called superoxide dismutase is decreasing. And estrogen acts as an antioxidant for your mitochondria. So while your estrogen is dropping, so is your superoxide dismutase. So women get hit twice as hard as men because literally overnight, we lose twice as much of our protection in free radical damage. And so when you have more free radical damage of your mitochondria, remember I said the brain has the most mitochondria? One of the first areas that gets hit harder for women are the brain. This is why women suffer from more depression, Alzheimer's. It's all related to damaged mitochondria. There's a great book by Dr. Chris Palmer, Palmer, called Brain Energy. And
I have it.
Oh, you have it. And so his whole book is about how all psychiatric brain health issues are due to damaged mitochondria. And I think he's right. It's a metabolic disease issue. So with women, this is what's going on. So we suffer anything, whether it's weight gain, fatigue, brain fog. And here's the other interesting thing, and this is another little subchapter in my book. And Maury, he'll connect with this as well. Women, when we're menstruating monthly, we lose blood, which of course is where most of our iron is stored. And but we all, men and women, have another type of iron. It's called stored iron. And I refer to stored iron like your savings account, and your blood, your iron in your blood, kind of like your checking account, because your checking account changes on a daily basis, what you're spending, what you're depositing. Your savings account pretty much stays the same. So your stored iron pretty much stays the same most of your life. It increases as you go, but it doesn't ever drop. For women, when we're menstruating, we get a great way to get rid of excess iron because we menstruate. And so when we lose it in our blood, the blood says, oh, got to pull some of that out of that stored iron, which is a good thing. Men don't have that ability. Oh, and the reason this came up with me is because men have always been known to die earlier, but on average 7 or 8 years earlier than women. And I had a conversation with Dave Asprey, and I think we came up with a solution, or an awareness that men have more stored iron because they have no way of getting rid of it like women do until women hit menopause. And when women hit menopause, we stop menstruating. That means we don't have a way to get rid of excess iron anymore. The average man has 1,000 milligrams of iron stored in his body. During our menstrual period, women have an average of 300 milligrams. Once we hit menopause, we go right up to 1,000 milligrams, the same as men, because we have no way of getting rid of that excess iron. And what's wrong with that excess iron? In that process, remember I said in the mitochondria, when you have free radicals and it converts to oxygen and water, there's an intermediary step called hydrogen peroxide, and it needs something called a mineral called manganese. And unfortunately, the way manganese is absorbed is through what's called the same pathway as iron. So most of us don't have enough manganese. And so in your mitochondria, if there's not enough manganese, in most cases there isn't, it grabs whatever other mineral it can find in large quantity, which is iron. So what's supposed to be antioxidant becomes pro-inflammatory. So now, and if you've ever seen a car abandoned in a field and you see the fender falling off because it's lots of rust, that's oxidation. It's the iron, the steel, or the iron is oxidizing with oxygen. So when you have too much iron stored in your body, you are literally rusting from the inside. You're oxidizing on the inside. And men do it from the moment they're born, and women catch up once we hit menopause. And that high oxidation, pro-inflammatory reaction at the mitochondria causes more symptoms of menopause. And nobody's talking about that. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, it's only once you hit menopause. And
So is the answer to donate blood? Is that
Yeah, I was going to say.
for men, yes, they've said that's one of the best ways to do that. And there's a disease called hematomacrosis.
Hemochromatosis.
That is mostly a genetic disease, and mostly men, but a third are with women, and it's often caused through lifestyle issues. And the reason why algae can be a correction for that as well is because it has the daily requirement of manganese. So now it can start filling in that gap. And also, the interesting thing about iron is you have, it's called hemi-iron and non-hemi. Hemi-iron is found in animal protein, highest amount, of course, in red meat. And iron from animal protein, 25% of it is absorbed, very high absorption rate. Iron that is in plants has an extraordinarily low absorption rate. So even though there's iron in algae, it will not increase your stored iron because it's very low absorption rate, and it will only go into the blood. It will never get into the stored amounts. So you can keep your iron levels where they need to be without tipping the boat and causing a problem. So yeah, what's supposed to be anti-inflammatory becomes very inflammatory, which causes more disease, more escalation of symptoms. So yes, getting a Doing blood donations monthly is definitely one way to, for men and women, men at any age, women once they hit menopause, for sure.
Okay.
For three times a year would do it. Yeah.
Or maybe or quarterly or something, because and you want to be careful
Quarterly.
because you
Yeah,
also want to
quarterly.
make sure you're not anemic, because that would not be a good thing.
No.
But yeah, they do work very differently. And Morley talks about stored copper, and
Yeah.
it's all these little things that are going on in the mitochondria. So
I got so
yeah.
excited when I first saw the package but I misread it. I thought it was 7 milligrams of copper. And I'm like, oh wow, what a nice ratio with the iron and copper. You never see that. And then I
Yeah, there's
realized
some,
it's
I think it's MCG probably.
Yeah.
micrograms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Micrograms,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So
Those,
there's still some in there.
yeah, the trace minerals, they do add up. They're important for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm so
Wow.
happy you went over the men as well. I actually have a friend who, yeah, he avoids eating steak and things because he's high iron. I think he has the hemochromatosis. So make
Well, then
sure he
he
listens
definitely
to
needs-
this.
Yes. Oh, please do. Yeah. And be sure he's giving blood, because that's another way. Who likes needles, but still.
And I'm going to make sure he's
Yeah.
he's taking these.
Because you've got to get the other, you want your protein, but you don't want, you don't want the downside of the homocysteine and all the other nasties that are causing problems. So with menopause, it's not just hormones. Nothing is just one thing ever anyways.
Right.
It's a collection of small things, and but ultimately your mitochondria are kind of behind the curtain with for all, the reason for so many symptoms. So if we can get them back on track, so many other things will start falling in place. Because I say this in my book, and I say this all the time, aging is natural, declining is not. But the only examples we see in front of us are people who are aging, who are declining. But then I remind people, there's the blue zones. That should not be the exception. Why do we think that's it's because our lifestyles are not conducive to living that way. Of course, we always have a choice, right? So I personally want to be without a cold, but to show people you can get into your 70s and 80s, be very active, keep your brain is still working, your body is still working, you can have purpose, you can have energy, because it takes energy to engage with life. And if you don't have energy, it's really hard to engage in life. It just is.
Yeah.
I want to help people get their energy back in a way that's natural and from something from Mother Nature, not an energy drink.
Yeah, yeah. You're such an inspiration and example of that. So just thank you for bringing this into the world and everything you do. Now, we have had you here. Thank you so much for being
An hour
so
and a half.
generous with your time. Oh my God. I know that we'll have a discount code for people in the
Yes,
show
I
notes.
have it if you want me to say what it is.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so it's Quantum Healthy, all one word, and it'll get 20% off. Go to ENERGYbits.com, and we have bags are your best value. By the way, a bag has 1,000 tablets in it, and if you use the Quantum Healthy code, normally a bag is $130. It brings it down to 104. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because if you did take the 10 tablets a day, which is the entry level, it works out to $1 a day. Right?
Okay.
$1 a day.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's very affordable. If it's therapeutic amount, it'll be $3 a day and it will last you a month. But here's the other thing. When you take at least 10, 15, 20 a day, you can eliminate a multivitamin, a fish oil, a collagen powder, a CoQ10, a biotin. There's 5 right there. So it saves you a lot of time and hassle and money. And with chlorella, you don't need to buy vegetables if you don't like them.
Yeah.
Or chlorophyll water.
It's
Another one you can
food-based.
food-based.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't like to use the word supplement because it's
Yeah.
nutrition. It's a
Yes.
food-based supplement if you must
Yes.
use the word
Bits of whole
supplement,
food.
but yeah, it's a whole
Bits of
food.
whole food.
Catherine, can you
So,
go through that list again? You said multivitamin, you said
Yeah, a multivitamin, a CoQ10,
a
a fish
biotin.
oil, biotin, because it's got so much protein. I'm gonna now just add chlorophyll water because you can't find anything with more chlorophyll. And probably don't necessarily protein powder. By the way, some of those protein powders are a little sketchy. So
Yes.
you wanna be careful.
They're
Wanna be careful about
processed
that.
at the end of the day. And then,
And
Yeah,
they are
and-
high deuterium.
yeah.
Yes, and
know that.
also plant protein powders, green powders. They use high heat to
high
mix
heat.
those.
That's right.
We've had people write us to tell us that their grocery bill went down because they're not as hungry and they're not having to buy as much food. They're saving them time. So we put a chart together. And I think it's one of the things. I'll have Erin send you a follow-up with some links to some documents. I'll ask her to include the chart that shows you all the different types of nutrient supplements that you can
Oh, please do.
you can
Yeah.
replace.
Oh, that'll be
yeah.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I
Okay.
include that.
Okay. All right.
Well, let me,
Perfect.
if you would just indulge us for 2 more minutes, we
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to give you a formal thank you, Catherine, because you've given us an hour and a half, not just to us, but to all our listeners. And first of all, please, we want to thank you for answering the call to research. And now you've got a PhD out of this, but to research your sister's cancer journey, that's truly loving her to bits. And
Yeah.
and also if the oncologist ever hears this, thank you for sending you down that rabbit hole to, of
Yeah.
alkalinity, right? Or you'd never have come up with this. Thank you for being the voice of algae. And also with your interior design background, honestly, the packaging is gorgeous. So it's beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for all the constipation cases that you've just are going to help with the recovery bits. And on a really serious note, the time you spoke on cancer and that that's just a really new perspective. I, for one, have a cancer workshop, so I'm
Okay.
going to include that. So thank you for that. That was a gift to
Yeah.
humanity.
I'll ask Erin to include the link to that as well, that
Oh,
article.
please do.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right.
And thank you for highlighting just the SOD, the superoxide dismutase link for us in algae as another way to keep our mitochondria healthy. That is actually, we talk a lot about mitochondria on this podcast. And so to keep them more nourished and to help protect them, that's huge. And
Yeah,
then
because
just
EMFs are killing them too.
yes. Oh, we have a number of podcasts on non-native EMFs, especially with R. Blank. We've had 2 with him. Yeah, he's the daughter of Professor Martin Blank, who wrote
Okay.
Overpowered. Yeah, it's a fantastic book, and Empowered is his new book. So he's taught us a
And
lot
Ulla
about.
Johansson.
And Ole, Ulla,
Yeah.
Ulla Johansson. Yes. Thank you. Oh my God, that's such a good episode.
Yeah.
He made us cry. Catherine, you'll have to hear that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And just lastly to say, cheerleading this eco-friendly, sustainable, ancestral food that's going to help the world just to be maybe even with world hunger. And you mentioned this quickly, it could be an alternative to Ozempic, which people are having a lot of issues with. So just so many things that you shared in this. It was just fantastic. So bless you for your time.
Thank you. And it's algae that's doing everything. I'm just, like you said, I'm just the voice, but somebody had to be.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Quantum Healthy Podcast. We hope you found some value in this information. And if you feel inspired, please share it and leave us a 5-star review. This will help us reach so many more people. If you want to connect with Laura, you can find her at laurakistmanwellness.com and Endia at endiaray.com. Links are below in the show notes. Now, go find some sunlight and embrace your own quantum healthy.